We are now witnessing a few very extensive, genuinely, I would say, movements being made by Ripple. I suggest if we take a look at what's been happening in just the remaining, you realize, 2 years by myself, implied, it looks like we are on a completely specific route across the XRP side of factors as a minimum, the majority of the market. And I, without a doubt, must cope with this because we are now articles popping out. There is a few first-rate data popping out as well. It does pertain to XRP. It does pertain to XRP. It relates to Ripple and what is really going on backstage. So we truly have to deal with this. We have to talk approximately. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, anybody. Let's now not waste any time right here. And let's talk approximately it. Number one, October 16th of 2024. So just, you recognize a couple months ago, Ripple puts out this post and it is a one-stop shop for enterprise in crypto. And this became, at Ripple, Swell proper. They promoted this at Ripple Swell, tokenization, custody, solid coins and bills. Now, they certainly do include this proper on the picture right here. And so this is what it seems like proper. And it is funny due to the fact, you understand, if I became an institutional player, if I became a commercial enterprise participant, if I became everybody, and I desired to force it into crypto, I could want the whole thing in one vicinity. It simply makes experience. Listen, no person desires to cross, you recognize, hopping around from one area to the alternative just to form of get access to those solutions. They want that one prevent store. And Ripple being that one prevent save, guys, this is very important to awareness on. This is very vital to focus on. This is likewise why Ripple has been prevailing for see you later. They recognize the complexities of business. They've been in commercial enterprise for well over a decade now. But we additionally go over right here due to the fact this is going again to 2023 when we first saw Ripple bills be of announcing, and we without a doubt have from Monica Long, and let's absolutely look into this in a thread reader, we have crypto software starts off evolved with payments, and for the last decade, Ripple's targeted on key components of infrastructure, liquidity, off-ramps, tokenization, custody, and compliance required for corporation-grade bills. Today, we're unveiling and stop to give up answer for simply that. Do they? This is an evolution of our product where our customers can tap into crypto utility while not having to be an investor professional in using this technology. An onboarding technology, as the world calls it. Data points with Ripple managing the stop to quit waft to transport fee at any time as fast and occasional price as feasible. What does that sound like? For those which have been around for a little bit of time, you might have watched a number of the Sooner films at the channel. You may have even remembered the unique Ripple internet site with RippleNet. Yeah, that seems like just XRP. Okay, and I need you guys to consider this due to the fact Ripple Payments does use XRP. In truth, it is integrated with the XRP ledger, the DEX, the AMM, the entirety that the XRP ledger has to offer. It's all incorporated with this, which also approach that if we go lower back to the only forest or keep right here, if you will tokenize and in case you're going to custody, you're no longer simply going to hold those tokenized assets. Okay, you're going to want to utilize the one's tokenized property the equal way which you could utilize whatever else in DeFi, which way that you're going to need to sell, exchange, switch, earn yield on them. I mean, this is precisely what we're considering. This is a virtual asset marketplace, if you will, or if you may. It is kind of like a digital monetary system as properly within the making, which we already understand. Everything is transferring virtually, so it makes experience. But additionally, why am I bringing up all of this proper? Like, this is going return to October. This is going all the manner again to November of 2023. Like you is properly pronouncing. Why are you bringing up all this old news? Well, let's cross over here. This is January 13th of this year, and this got posted through Doge Toshi. And it's funny because we've got early wins. Saxon individuals of the Trump transition team were running closely with crypto leaders to finalize a legislative approach, and Trump is anticipated to problem executive orders on the primary day of his presidency that could address problems such as debanking and the repeal of a controversial crypto accounting policy requiring banks keeping digital assets to matter them as liabilities on the financial institution's personal stability sheet, according to someone concerned with the conversations. So the Trump group has made it very clear that that is a priority. So that is very exciting. Proper. But what does it mean? Well, first, let's pass over right here. We have, and that is from Frank Chaparro, once massive banks can start custodying crypto, they'll be capable of do something. Credit equals more liquidity. Important, foremost tailwind for crypto marketplace, shape and tempering volatility quickly. Now, humans are starting to see the huge image right here. Do you understand why for the last couple of years we have been following the breadcrumbs and proper? Now it has left us on a path in which we have now sooner or later gotten to the destination where we could in the end see the loaf of bread. We ought to see the massive plan in action. Okay, the breadcrumbs have led us to something very thrilling right here, which is permits. Go back. Now let's go back to Ripple custody. Okay, we have to speak approximately Ripple custody because let's cross over here. Cost, Monica long quoted Frank submit, which I found very thrilling. We have agree, Frank. 15 of the 25 largest banks globally have already piloted tokenized asset tasks. I expect several of them to release marketplace-equipped offerings within the US in 2025 in the event that they have readability from the USA government to touch crypto. But it's very possible for this to not be an obstacle in this 12 months. This is a post you want to take very, very severe. Why? Because it's coming from the pre. That is a completely tremendous publish, in my opinion, for some matters. Beginning with number one, it's coming from the president of Ripple. It's coming from the person who was selling and marketing Ripple custody for a totally long term, and speak me about how vast it's far for huge banks, for the massive gamers. But it is also confirming the fact that, yeah, the surroundings around crypto is changing. This 12 months, and if we have a green light on big banks to, in the end, be capable of contact crypto, which means that those tokenized asset tasks, which have been piloted and trial, they ultimately launch. I don't suppose that I have to tell you that that is 15 of the 25 biggest banks, not inside the US, globally, that have these tokenized asset initiatives. And this isn't always thousands and thousands of greenbacks. This is not billions of greenbacks. This is trillions of dollars. Now, we actually ought to recognition on this, but I do believe that this takes place this year. I am right on, you understand, with Monica Lengthy here. I do think that 2025 is the year where we start to see the US, you recognize stepping on the gasoline and pronouncing or proper, yeah, we can not permit this cross by means of any more. We need to include this. We want to just accept this. We need to move forward on this, which additionally leads me over here. The largest banks inside the world will use Ripple. Custody in 2025, Ripple's strategic partnership with Medico is not any twist of fate. And you understand what is funny about this. I put up and I stated, people appear to miss the partnerships that Medico had previous to Ripple acquiring them. Here are all the big banks that Medico had. Do you note something? Citi, JP Morgan, BNY Mellon. Like, observe those financial institution names that are on this list. Outside of America, you've got DZ Bank and some other banks like that proper, which can be some of the largest players available, Societe Generale, BBVA. But then we also study the partnerships that Ripple has as nicely. PNC, HSBC, Santander, Guys, Bank of America is on right here. I suggest when we take a look at these names, they are very sizable. I even said there are probable loads or even heaps of partnerships that we do not even recognize about due to NDAs. It's clear at this factor that Ripple is becoming a monster within the banking and monetary area. So that's the same doc. All pads will result in XRP, in my view, as properly, despite ROUSD, considering there might be many different stablecoins too, with XRP being a really perfect bridge currency. And let's move lower, back over right here. We have Ripple is already aligned with tier one banks globally, securing partnerships that deliver them 80% insurance of the world's key exchange corridors, not to even mention 90% of the FX market. Now, with Trump anticipated to overturn the SARB 101-21 veto, US tier one banks will subsequently gain the inexperienced mild to custody digital property. This regulatory shift opens the floodgates for application token momentum, with Ripple's custody platform leveraging the XRP ledger to tokenize actual global property. Imagine 80% of the arena's trade corridors transacting tokenized RWAs via the XRP ledger. The infrastructure is already in area and the documentation factors to this turning into a fact.